Wait, some coffee first. Let me lubricate my throat. A cup of coffee a day keeps the intersex phobes away. Whenever people ask the question, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why? And my response is always, I have a superpower. Being intersex is my superpower. Being intersex is what makes me amazing and it allows me to really challenge the norms in society. And I think as intersex people, it's so powerful that we've really been challenging all of these systems. And I mean, if that in itself is not a superpower, then I mean, let's call Marvel and find out.
You know, growing up, I always tell people that I was told to behave a certain way because I'm a girl. And for me, that didn't make sense. As I grew up, I started to understand that, okay, there are a lot of areas or rather boxes that I do not tick because I couldn't necessarily identify with this gender or that gender. I was just me to a point that I remember asking myself, what is it with me that I'm being told that I'm this, but I find myself thinking like that way. So navigating life in general, I had to fit in, which was something that indeed killed me because then there were always people who would be like, then, but what kind of a girl are you? What kind of a boy are you?
The only place that I feel safe at is my home. Everyone at home supports me. Even though they didn't know anything about intersex, they just loved me. I didn't like school, but I managed to finish school because I had a belief that if a person have money, he or she is being respected everywhere and education is the key. But it was not easy wearing girls' uniform, being loved every day, but I keep on pushing and I got what I wanted. I was once being mistreated at the hospital, so I no longer go there. If I'm not feeling well, I heal myself. My life generally is not normally. I don't have friends. I don't go to church because I avoid the pain. I think if I wasn't around people, I wouldn't have known that pain I'm avoiding right now.
There is a lot of fixing happening, how to fix our body. I remember growing up how there was a lot of medical advice on how my body will conform more to a female body. And most of those options, my parents followed it to see if their child will conform to a female body. But unfortunately, it didn't work. I remember taking pills. I remember visiting a lot of prayer houses in the name of trying to give me a solution to my body. A lot of people will come up to me and say, what does it look like to be an intersex person? Does it mean you have two genitals? Oh, well, sometimes I find it invasive as an invasive question, but the truth is variations is not the same thing as having two functional genitals at the same time.
We, the people, intersex people, we have always known that even within the queer community, people categorize us or they order us into a separate category of humans. I find it very alarming that even queer people hear the word intersex and immediately think ambiguous genitalia. My intersex variation is Mayor Kutansi Hausa or MRKH, which basically means everything in my insides is underdeveloped. My uterus, my ovaries, my fallopian tubes, they did not grow. Each time I visit the hospital or undergo a scan for one thing or the other around there, The doctors tell me I look like I did not attain puberty. And I'm like, boobs. And I have a few stubbles.
I've never seen someone when I was growing up as an intersex. So it was just only me alone. And being an intersex taught me a lot. Like, you meet people that, you think they are matured enough to reason some certain things. But while discussing with them, you understand that, these people, well, I don't blame them. It's not something that they are used to.
I think I've really been fortunate to grow up in a family that is very close. The sad part is that we never ever spoke about like intersex. Okay, we didn't have the word, but we never spoke about at that point the condition that we were labeled as, or the syndrome, because I was diagnosed with complete androgen insensitivity syndrome, and my sister as well. I'm going to the hospital. I need to have surgery because the doctors are telling my parents that they need to remove my internal ovaries because they could become cancerous.
Intersex persons are also human beings, and we are created by God. We are not a disorder. We are not a disease. Yeah, we are not a disease. We are humans. We have feelings, and most times we hide our feelings because we don't want to be stigmatized. We don't want to be embarrassed, and we don't want to be disgraced in the public, because many cases of people, of other people's experiences and intersex persons, when they disclose their feelings with an opposite gender, they are being arrested sometimes, or they are being stigmatized.
Being intersex is very hard, to be honest. You have to explain yourself to people. As they people classify me as a lesbian, you have to tell them, no, I'm not a lesbian, I'm intersexual. They will ask what intersexual is, and then you have to explain.
The time I started noticing that I was different from other kids, it's when I was at school with my friends. Then I'd notice, maybe, as girls we share stories, they'd say I'm on my period, blah blah blah. I think I was doing standard 6 by then, and I would ask, what's menstruation? I was attended by a gynae. Then I went through saunas because they said they couldn't feel my womb, my uterus, and all those stuff. Being admitted to the hospital was the worst experience I had, because I was turned into a lab rat.
Last month, I stepped out on an evening trying to take a walk. As I was taking a stroll, which I'm going to be which I want to take a ride back home. As I stopped the keke, the driver and some of the passengers began to talk about, is this a guy? Is this the... And they were trying to talk like, this is a lady now. Didn't you see this, and this is a guy. Since you see this, I decided not to enter the keke, because actually I don't know what is going to happen, because as they're busy contemplating, one issue or the other will lead to another situation. So I decided to shun it and tell the keke just to go.
People are rarely taught anything about intersex bodies. Nobody talks about intersex variations. In primary and secondary schools, it's not brought up in class curriculums. Medical doctors only are concerned with treating what they think is an abnormality in babies. And adults like myself, I was asked if I wanted to feminize myself. Seeing as I was socialized as female, I was asked if I was happy with the way my body is, and most of the times we don't even know how to respond to questions like this.
I wish to attend community radio station to teach them about the intersex and being intersex, having conversation with the school SGB for them to be aware and help us to create a safe place to be for an intersex child. A God creature is important. Intersex is not rare. I wish to hear different stories in future from other intersex out there. Like school was good. I enjoyed the child phase. So I'd like to beg for love, respect, support from everyone who is willing to learn.
What I can say to community and parents, or to them, I'll raise a point of they mustn't treat intersex people as different people or something bad. They must treat intersex people as they treat male and female people.
I'm just going to direct this to the LGBT guys. Do show that you are in solidarity, collaborate. Where you need to ask questions, can you please come and just approach people who are in the know. There's people who would rather know. There are organizations that are about raising awareness. There are organizations that do care. There are organizations that can give you the guidance that you want, the scope. All there is to know about being a part of the movement. Just know that there's more. Okay, it's not only just male and female, there's the other ones, a whole other different category that is neither, which is intersex, and there's a lot of other variations.
Teachers, they need to be educated, so when they go teach children at schools, nurses at the universities, health practitioners, doctors, it should be added in their curriculum. This should be known, starting from up there. Government officials, parliament should know about intersex people. We are isolated from the whole of the world. HIV, it's out there. At the clinics, you'll find HIV placards. You'll find COVID. People have been taught about this. So why don't we stand up for the intersex people? Let's unite and stand together. Let's fight for our intersex babies. Let all the doctors know that enough is enough. Hands off our genitals.
I'm going to do everything possible. I'm going to promise the world. I'm going to promise all intersex all over the world. I'm going to head childhood surgery. There are some doctors that don't even know, that be using you as trial and error till maybe whatever they are doing is, they'll fail and you get problem. Now, reason why I want to spearhead this is because I was a victim of childhood surgery. Yes. And let me tell you guys, it's very painful. Anybody that's telling you it's not painful is a lie. It's very motherfucking painful.
If I'm being opportune to ask in my next lifetime, how will you want to be born? Because I don't know what more do someone wants than what he already is, because I'm perfect the way I am, and I don't want anything to be added or increased in every area of my body.
Everybody that is intersex is born intersex. You don't develop being intersex. You were born intersex. And I also think people should respect people's experiences, because my experience can never be your experience. And I cannot live your life. I have to live my life because I want to be authentic, because I want to be happy, because I want to fulfill my dreams and my passion.
I think I've come to the point through activism and through finding myself and through finding community and speaking to other people, I've realized that being intersex is probably the best thing that ever happened to my life. Just pointing out, I'm on a yellow staircase, and technically, because I'm intersex, I bleed purple. Okay, just kidding. I bleed like red blood, like everybody else.